At CUC, we care about helping our customers. Here are some quick energy saving tips from CUC so you can use less energy and save money. Set your AC Smart thermostat to maintain an indoor temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit or higher when you are away from home, and have the temperature cool to a comfortable 78 degrees Fahrenheit or higher when you arrive home. Adding insulation can cut your cooling costs by 15 to 45%, depending on your home's size and current insulation. Focus on insulating your attic, walls, and windows for the best results. For your laundry, avoid over-drying clothes. Not only does it waste energy, but it also harms fabrics. Dry towels and heavier cottons separately from lighter weight fabrics to save energy. Your TV and gaming setup can be big energy consumers. Save costs by reducing in-game settings and turning off your console when not in use. Remember, every small step counts. Use energy wisely and make a big difference in your energy bills and the environment.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Welcome to the 10th of 19 candidate forums for the 2025 general elections in the Cayman Islands, proudly hosted by the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce. My name is Omari Corbin, and I'm honored to serve as the current president of the Chamber of Commerce. I'm also pleased to be one of the panelists posing questions to our candidates this evening. Before we begin, I would like to sincerely thank the two Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman candidates, Mr. Nicholas DaCosta and Mr. Lonnie Lee Tibbetts, for accepting our invitation to participate in tonight's forum. By appearing together on this platform, you demonstrate a shared commitment to the democratic process and to the people of Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. Your presence signals your readiness to address the pressing issues raised by the community through a recent chamber survey, which has helped shape the questions that we'll be asking tonight. While time won't allow us to cover every question submitted, we will do our best to focus on the topics identified as most important to the voters in the Cayman Islands, as well as in Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. When the Chamber was founded in 1965, it was built on the principles of supporting, promoting, and protecting the interests of our members and the wider community. Remaining strictly nonpartisan, we have proudly hosted these candidate forums every election year since 1988. We've provided a neutral platform for 9 elections, allowing voters to hear directly from those seeking public office and helping our community make informed decisions on election day. The questions for tonight's forum have been carefully developed based on past and current chamber surveys, our 3-year advocacy agenda, and submissions from the public in various constituencies. No candidate has received these questions in advance, ensuring a fair and open discussion. As an organization committed to supporting a strong and sustainable Cayman, the Chamber's advocacy efforts focus on 3 key pillars: building a future-ready workforce, sustaining economic success, and advancing quality of life. The newly elected Chamber Council believes that these pillars are fundamental to the continued growth and prosperity of our islands. Looking ahead, the Chamber intends to collaborate with the incoming government to develop a government accountability scorecard, ensuring accountability and transparency. Additionally, we will seek representation on key government boards and authorities, as we believe our members bring valuable expertise that can help shape effective policies and initiatives. These forums require months of coordination, and I'd like to acknowledge the tremendous efforts of Will and our chamber staff who have worked diligently behind the scenes. I'd also like to express our gratitude to Ashley Furniture and Home Store, Foster's, CUC, and Logic for their generous sponsorship, which has made these forums possible. Additionally, we appreciate our media partners, Cayman Mall Road, Cayman Live TV, and ICCI-FM for broadcasting tonight's event. We are live streaming the forums, making it easier than ever for voters to tune in from the comfort of their homes. We hope that this added accessibility encourages even greater participation in the democratic process. And now, it's time to begin. I'll turn the proceedings over to Will Panu, CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, who will serve as tonight's moderator. Will outline the forum's rules and introduce our candidates from Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman.
Good evening, candidates. Each candidate will be allowed to answer a series of questions. You'll have 2 minutes to elaborate on each question if you choose to do so. And if you hear the bell, you should conclude your response to that question. Each candidate will be allowed to answer the question without interruption and is free to differ with the opinion or position of a fellow candidate during their allotted response time. And at the conclusion of the forum, each candidate will be allowed 2.5 minutes to deliver a closing statement. I'd now like to introduce the candidates for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. Nicholas DaCosta is running for the Cayman Islands National Party. He is a dedicated public servant and seasoned leader with over 15 years of experience in customer service, communications, and public administration, spanning both the public and private sectors. His career reflects a deep understanding of government operations and a strong dedication to community engagement. In his roles as caucus secretary and communications coordinator in the Office of the Premier, Mr. DaCosta supported transparent, effective communication at the highest levels of government. As customer relations supervisor at the Water Authority, Cayman, he focused on ensuring that residents' concerns were addressed with respect and responsiveness. Mr. DaCosta holds a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in public administration, equipping him with the skills to navigate complex challenges and drive meaningful progress. He has served on the boards of the Water Authority of Cayman, the Cayman Islands National Attractions Authority, advocating for sustainable development and responsible decision-making. His work with the Planning Appeals Tribunal has further deepened his understanding of land use and community planning. Active in civic life, Mr. DaCosta is a proud member of the Lions Club of Cayman Brac and a progressive Melvin Jones Fellow, recognized for his service and dedication. His passion for music brings people together, and he regularly contributes to worship at churches across the island, including his home church, Stake Bay Baptist. Now running for office, Mr. DaCosta is focused on creating real opportunities for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. His priorities include improving employment, enhancing health care and infrastructure, and ensuring every resident's voice is heard and respected. Welcome, Mr. DaCosta.
Thank you.
Mr. Lonnie Tibbetts is an independent candidate for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. He's a dedicated public servant and entrepreneur with a strong track record in leadership, accountability, and community-focused initiatives. As Director of Employment Relations, he enhanced data accuracy and streamlined public services while upholding labor laws and advocating for employment reforms. Later, as CEO of Cineco, he finalized the summary plan document between the Cayman Islands government and Cineco, working to make health care more affordable and accessible for over 15,000 members, including seafarers, veterans, and pensioners. Mr. Tibbetts brings an ownership mentality to leadership, shaped by his experience running his businesses. This mindset, rooted in responsibility and initiative, guides his approach across all roles. He holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the University of South Florida, as well as a master's degree in business administration and human resources. His career spans both public service and private enterprise, providing him with a broad and strategic perspective. A lifelong advocate for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, Mr. Tibbetts has developed home health care protocols, supported youth sports, and personally connected with residents during medical outreach visits. He supports sustainable development that respects the environment and local culture while promoting economic growth. His vision focuses on reducing the cost of living, expanding access to health care, enhancing public services, and ensuring equitable support systems. His commitment to senior citizens, economic opportunity, and efficient public service delivery reflects his core belief that leadership should always put people first. With a focus on innovation, transparency, and collaboration, he's working to build a stronger, more inclusive future for all. Welcome, Lonnie.
Thank you.
Mr. Tibbetts. I should call you Mr. Tibbetts. Well, welcome, gentlemen. We're going to take a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll begin the question of the candidates. Please stay tuned.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.
Why is my bill higher? These days, it might seem like the cost of everything is going up here in Cayman. When it comes to your energy bill, this may be no exception. You may be wondering why your bill is higher when you haven't done anything different in your home. Here are some common factors that will increase your energy usage. As temperatures outside increase, your air conditioning unit has to run longer to keep your house cool, even if you haven't adjusted the thermostat. During the summer months, cooling your home can make up more than half of your energy bill. It's important to maintain your AC so that it can function as efficiently as possible. Changing your AC filters can also help with ensuring units are functioning properly. Remember, for every degree you turn up your thermostat, you can save on your monthly energy cost. Turn off your AC when no one is home. Thermostat should not be set any lower than 78 degrees. Also consider closing blinds and drapes on the sunny side of your home. This will help reduce the temperature inside your home. Remember to consider energy waste. Think about the items in your home that are using energy, like gaming computers and ceiling fans. Always unplug and turn these items off when they are not in use or needed. This will help you conserve. Now that you have some energy saving tips, you can track your consumption daily on MyCUC. Learn more at www.cuc-cayman.com.
Welcome back to the Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum for Cayman, Brac, West, and Little Cayman. We're going to go through the first 4 questions, and to begin the questioning, I'll turn it over to Amari Corbin, President of the Chamber.
Thanks, Will. Mr. DaCosta, we'll start with you for question number 1. Why have you decided to run in this election, and how do you plan to represent the people of Cayman, Brac, West, and Little Cayman if elected?
Thank you for the question, and good evening to you all. Good evening to the people listening at home, especially our people in Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman. I've decided to run in this election because I truly believe in the untapped potential of Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman. Not just the islands, but its people as well. And the islands there are more than just my home. They're communities, thriving communities with hard-working people who have just seemed to have been forgotten about. Not just yesterday, today, or perhaps years ago, but they have been forgotten about. I'm running because I want to build a future where opportunities aren't just reserved for a few, but available for all. Too many of our young people leave the sister islands because they don't see a future for themselves there. They are forced not to have a future there. And that needs to change. We must create sustainable jobs, a thriving economy, and support and invest education and training for our young people coming out of our schools. so that they can build meaningful lives without having to leave their home. Most importantly, I'm running because I believe leadership is listening. Too often people felt left out of decisions that affect their lives, and I want to change that. I want to be a representative who makes sure every voice is heard and who brings transparency and accountability to our government. My campaign, and indeed my life, has been rooted in hope, action, and community. I'm not here to make empty promises tonight or any time. I'm here to serve, to advocate, and to fight for you. We just need leadership that will fight for all of us and fight for the future that we all deserve. That is why I'm running.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbetts.
I'm a Bracer. I've always been one, I'll die one. The caliber of life that we live in Cayman Brac has to change. For too long, our representatives have repeatedly fought hard, very hard, to get what we've achieved there. And somewhere in the process, we've been left behind. Yet we continue to produce the highest caliber of students. Sitting to your left is a fine representative of Cayman Brac. And the reason being is that our commitment to our children, the excellence, the pride of our small islands continue to exist. Somewhere in the middle of this, central government has forgotten that. And our people continue to wonder why and what's happening. Because of the nature of our people, we respect one another and we honor and accept what's there. I felt they needed a voice with a different perspective. Someone that'll scream from the edge of the bluff, we're here. We want things better. We deserve better. And I am here tonight to tell both the listening audience as well as the citizens of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, you give me that opportunity, I will work night and day to make that a reality. And that's why I'm running for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
Mr. Tibbetts, no break for you. We're going to have the second round and start with you. What are the top 3 national issues you would prioritize if elected, and why?
Obviously, these are low-hanging fruits now. Everyone's pretty much saying the same. The cost of living. We have to figure out, especially in the Brac. I've communicated, I've examined, and I've also discovered that there's an unfair process and just to import duties and protocols and payments made on shipping to Cayman Brac. There's 2 legs, 90% of things that come to Cayman Brac. They come from Florida or some other foreign country. They land in Grand Cayman. They're then processed on. When they land in Cayman Brac, we're paying for the leg between Grand Cayman and Cayman Brac, and that leg has become dutiable. And it's been dutiable for years, and it needs to be vacated because it's no different than if I ship something from here to Cayman Brac and it's duty-free. It's not susceptible to duties. We have to fix that. That's our first notch. We've forgotten our elderly. It scares me to think that all of us, if we're lucky, will live to see 65. And if we do, we're tossed out on the street. Accessibility to health insurance is void, null, no longer there. Level of health care in Cayman Brac. We spend probably more money sending our people back and forth to Grand Cayman than we should. I've always advocated for it as a CEO of Synico, and I continue to do it now. It's easier to send one, which is a physician and even a team, to Cayman Brac to care for our elderly, as opposed to sending a number of our elderly here. So, having said that, the cost of living has to be addressed in Cayman Brac, and from both aspects. Our import and everything else that's there that comes into our country. We need to supplement, we need to utilize solar panels. There's an application by Island Energy right now sitting in, for 2 years now, sitting in off-reg and not responded to. That solar panel system will supplement our grid, reduce the fuel that's burnt, and the utilities has a fixed cost. No one's, again, we're just ignored.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. DaCosta?
Thank you very much. So the top 3 national issues across the country. While we have unique issues in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, there are issues that are affecting all Caymanians across the country. The top three that I would select to work on and prioritize would be employment and workforce development, cost of living, as we've heard Mr. Tibbet speak on, and also housing. And I'll touch on cost of living quickly, because cost of living can take us all night to speak about. But cost of living it's a multifaceted element. There are many different webs and legs to that. And once we attack one, we can address all levels of our lives. Something simple has a trickle-down effect. But we have to address it, whether it's the duty that's charged on fuel used to generate electricity, whether it's negotiating trade deals for food security for our retailers here in the country. There are so many different things that can address our cost of living. Not only external factors impact our cost of living. We can do something about it, and we must do something about it. The housing issue. Not only do we need to focus on creating more affordable housing and affordable land lot purchases for our Caymanians, we also need to look in providing social housing for those who can't even qualify for a mortgage. We in the Cayman Islands should not have one Caymanian that is homeless, sleeping in a car, sleeping in a tree, the same trees that we used to climb as kids and pick mangoes, now we're sleeping under. It's unacceptable. Employment and workforce development. We need a national workforce development plan. In 2013, I graduated with a bachelor's degree from a university in Florida. I moved home, tried to find employment, and it took me 2.5 years after receiving a government scholarship and graduating to find employment. And that story repeats itself for the past 12 years with other Caymanians. We are not getting any better, and we need to address these things.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta.
Thank you.
Mr. DaCosta, we'll start with you for question number 3. And the next 4 questions would be on the Chamber pillar of advancing quality of life. What specific improvements would you recommend to enhance shipping services to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman?
Can you repeat it while it's going up? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll repeat it. No
Thank you.
problem. What specific improvements would you recommend to enhance shipping services to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman?
Thank you. So there are many things that need to be improved with our shipping services in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Currently, we only rely, our only option to rely on is the barge, the weekly barge. It's a tugboat with a barge being pulled behind. We need to forge direct trade negotiations with other countries in our region, Honduras, Jamaica, Panama, Belize, where we can get goods directly from. Right now, we have goods that we purchase and import from the US that originate in other countries, but taxes and fees are added on, then we have to pay for shipping. We also have to look at the equipment that we have in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman that unload and offload all of our cargo. It's simply unacceptable. I myself have a business in Cayman Brac that serves the people of Cayman Brac. And when I ship my items to Cayman Brac that people have purchased, the cost immediately doubles from purchasing it here in Grand Cayman. More than doubles. It's unsustainable. We need to upgrade our dock in Cayman Brac. We need to upgrade the equipment that is on the dock to offload these ships. There's no reason why a seaboard ship originating in Jamaica can't stop in Cayman Brac on its way to Grand Cayman to offload our containers first. But first we need the equipment to do it. And then in Little Cayman, Port Authority still charges port fees, but everyone has to unload the shipment themselves. It's unacceptable, and it needs to change.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbets?
Well, listen, these common problems we all share. As Nicholas alluded to, we all know this. Now let's look at the specifics of this. We have a crane on the Brac that's outdated, depreciated, done, needs to be changed. We have a situation where if you're bringing in a container on Cayman Brac from US, Cayman, or whatever, you have to limit the weight that you load into that container because the age of the crane and the risk to lift beyond a certain capacity, which is well below what's considered a normal weight lifting capacity of a crane on the dock. You then end up doubling your containers to load splitting the load to actually make it compliant for the crane. Not that the container can't hold it, not that the weight isn't within the parameter of the container's capacity. The crane just can't lift it. Little Cayman is unbelievable. There is nothing, not even a shade there. So you put something in a container, it's rolled on and rolled off of the barge there, sits on the side of the road, the door's left open, and anyone can climb into your container and take things up. And these are some of the things that people have objected to paying fees to Port Authority for Little Cayman deliveries because what am I paying for? We have doctors of how did this get this bad? What's happening? The Port Authority of the Cayman Islands. That's 3. We're only covering 1 right now. We're only maintaining 1. Some of the best cranes in the Caribbean, we have them right there. And where are we at? Nothing Cayman Brac, nothing else Cayman. So those are the things that have to change. Access to overseas, other facilities in and out of Cayman Brac, the opportunities are there. We certainly are geographically placed to facilitate that. But we need to look at an alternative docking facility possibly, because every Bracker will tell you in the event, and the Little Cayman actually worse, in the event that the weather's inclement, we wait 2 and 3 weeks sometime till the weather settles before we can get fresh food.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
All right, Mr. Tibbetts. This question is on cost of living. What specific strategies would you propose to reduce the cost of living for residents in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman?
Thank you, Shamari. I think I touched on it earlier. We have to segregate the 2 legs of the shipping. So one becomes duty-free once it touches Grand Cayman. That's the second piece. I think there are a number of items there that have reduced duties on the import duties, they reduce tariffs and duties on those that actually help contribute, again, or to a certain extent, reduce the cost of living. We have to look at the utility in Cayman Brac. We have to recognize that the utility bills are a component of fixed and variable cost because we have 2,000 people in Cayman Brac and just a little over 200 in Little Cayman. It's quite a large number to disperse with such a small quantity of people to maintain the level of electrical generation, the quality of poles, maintain the maintenance of those. Government needs to subsidize our electricity grid in Cayman Brac in one of 2 ways. They need to buy and spend the money on solar panels and attach them to the grid, reduce the consumption of generated power. And secondly, in the event that they can't, they need to subsidize the elderly in Cayman Brac for their utility bills. We have a generation of people that made us where we are, but no one at that time told them to save for tomorrow. They're now there, age is going to happen, and there's nothing to shore them up. And people are now getting a pension that's used exclusively to pay a light bill. So we've disconnected somewhere in the middle of there, but those are the things that are out there that can be done pretty easily, pretty quickly. And we certainly want to see some level of government reduction in taxation or import duties of all things in Cayman Brac. A license in Cayman Brac is 50% of Cayman, a business license, but we're 1% of the population. That's not proportional. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. DaCosta.
Thank you, sir. So yes, cost of living, as we both mentioned earlier, has a tremendous amount of legs and webs that intertwine to affect everybody's daily life. But some simple things and simple quick solutions to alleviating that pain and the ever-rising cost of living. One would be to review all of the regulations and laws that government has enacted over the years to see what is unnecessarily being charged to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman residents. When this current government reviewed the Port Authority regulations and the charges to raise revenue, they increased the fee of importing a vehicle into the Cayman Islands. However, that charge is also being charged in Cayman Brac. So if we were to fly over to Grand Cayman and buy a car from a car dealership in Grand Cayman, that fee is already calculated into the price that the car dealership is selling it for. Then when we carry it to the dock and ship it to Cayman Brac, when we get to the Port Authority office in Cayman Brac, we're being charged the same $300 again. I made the argument that that is not importing a vehicle, but I was told it's always been done, so that's the way it is. Those are the types of things that just need to be changed. It just is common sense to be changed, and it can be done right there in cabinet. Those are regulations. Quick fix. The next thing that we need to support is implementing renewable energy in both Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. The peak load in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman is low enough that it will not take a large investment to produce electricity, reliable electricity through renewable energy. But the utility provider needs to be supported from government in doing so. Whether that be to assist with duty waivers for a battery, for example, to store the energy, or for initial investment in purchasing the equipment and a no interest or interest-free loan over several years. We need immediate relief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
DaCosta.
gentlemen. We've gone through the first four questions. We're going to take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
EV public charging can be a bit tricky to navigate if you're new to the game. But fear not. Here's a little 101 on all things public charging at your CUC charge station. The first tip is to get the mobile app up and ready on your phone before you charge your EV at the charging location. You can scan the QR code to load the app from sitting in your car. Download the mobile app, register a charge account, load money into your charge wallet. You must have a minimum of US $5 balance in your charge wallet to begin a charging session. Scan the QR code again to start a charging session using this charger. You can also enter the station ID number into the app. Follow the instructions on the mobile app to initiate your charging session. Now you're ready to charge your EV. Select either the right or the left charge plug. Plug your car in and make sure it shows as charging on your dashboard. Charging for 1 hour will give you up to 35 miles of charge. Charging to 80% optimizes battery life and reduces the risk of overcharging. So in that time, you can shop or go to work or chat with fellow EV owners. It's a real community out there. Great to see you, Maya. Happy charging, everyone. See you on the road.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.
Welcome back to the Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. Gone through the first four questions. Now we move on to the next four, and we'll begin with air services for Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and I'll turn it over to Amari.
Thanks, Will. Mr. DaCosta, we'll start with you for question number 5. Do you support the redevelopment of the Little Cayman airfield? And if yes, how would you propose this to be funded?
Thank you for the question. So airlift in Little Cayman is very important, and we have to ensure that whatever service we provide to our people in Little Cayman, it's reliable, safe, and efficient. If the Little Cayman airport is to be developed through the will of the people, and it is what's needed, then it will have to be redeveloped. And of course, the funding will have to come through the taxes and fees that are already collected through the Cayman Islands Airports Authority. What I do not see that is needed is to borrow more money for a project such as this. There are other projects, other capital projects that are happening, and if this one is critical to the continuing support of the residents and people of Little Cayman, then that needs to be prioritized. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbetts?
I have mixed feelings about this, because the current airstrip that we use right now in Little Cayman is not owned by the government. We could be in a situation where access could be limited. We couldn't evacuate people if some issue arises with the owners and the existing people that own that land. An airstrip should be owned by its citizens, by its government. I would support it. I certainly would want to make sure that it's done in a way where we can utilize both of the sister island aircraft that service both of us right now, the Saab as well as the Shorts. At the same time, it is part of what we would do in regards to another government budget, what we can set aside, what we can accumulate, and certainly, if necessary, what we would need to borrow to facilitate that. But at the same time, we have to be cognizant of the ecosystem in Little Cayman and the different things that could be materially affected by this. So it has its challenges. There's multiple surveys and done to it. But at the moment, it seems to be the aircraft that has been utilized by Cayman Airways is sufficient. It does the service that's required of it, and it gives it a somewhat of a different appeal than landing on the traditional barber green or concrete tarmac. So it does make part of the appeal, but at the same time, I would love to see if we could shore the ownership of the existing airstrip and make it for the citizens of the Cayman Islands so that we mitigate the risk of losing the rights to use it at some time.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
Mr. Tibbetts, question 6, we'll start with you. What are the top concerns affecting the youth in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and how would you address them if elected to office?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to examine Little Cayman is very limited limited amount of youth that are there. But however, in the Brac, we have our traditional quantity as the normal average classroom. I think the struggle that Brac youth have is the progression through the educational system, knowing full well that the opportunities for employment post high school and even post overseas college is almost non-guaranteed. There's no opportunity, very limited for a young Caymanian returning from college or even leaving high school to seek employment. We have to figure a way to grow employment opportunities by both investment, government expanding its services in Cayman Brac, and providing what I consider real hope. It's something wonderful about being able to drive to your mom or dad's house on the weekend and, shop in their closet or in their pantry, as opposed to doing it at Billy's or Cocorno's. Those are the things that are lost when you've left Cayman Brac and you've moved to Grand Cayman to seek employment. And some of the challenges that are there, we do have drug issues there. We have to recognize that there are a lot of young people that get into alcoholism too early, a lot of young people that, get lost in the system and self-medicate, so to speak. The opportunities for both diagnostic and interventional care void and null in Cayman Brac, and we have to present that there as opposed to prison. Prison is not the way to secure that. So those are the challenges that are facing our youth there, and both capacity to stay in Cayman Brac and examine vocational and tertiary expansion of educational opportunities. We need to expand all of them so the youth can stay in the Brac.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. DaCosta?
Thank you very much. So there are many issues that are affecting the youth in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, and none of them have developed overnight. And I think that's what I've been saying. Nothing that we are facing in the sister islands has developed overnight. We have just been neglected and ignored. The first issue is employment. There are not enough employment opportunities. For the past 20 years, we've heard about bringing back office jobs to Cayman Brac, but nothing has been done to make that a reality. There has been no expansion, no innovative way to provide for inward investment into Cayman Brac. And that needs to be done so that when our children leave high school in Cayman Brac, there are opportunities for them to stay there. And also further, if they leave the high school and they need certification in a technical or vocational field, we need those opportunities there in Cayman Brac as well. And that is an opportunity we have been missing. I first spoke about it 8 years ago, where we need to start offering those TVET certifications there at home in Cayman Brac. Because not everybody can and has the situation where they can travel to Grand Cayman and have family members for them to stay with or can afford rent in an apartment. We know the skyrocketing prices of rent. We need to offer those certifications there at home. Our next thing are recreational activities. Growing up in Cayman Brac, I had more recreational activity opportunities than we do now. We had an arcade. We had a youth center. None of that exists anymore. And we need to bring those back. Those simple things provide an outlet for our youth to enjoy themselves, enjoy good, wholesome company. Since COVID, we've also seen a spike in our mental health concerns amongst the youth. And as Mr. Tibbet stated, they're self-medicating through whether it be alcohol, whether it be hard drugs, but nothing is being done. They aren't provided the resources to address their mental health issues. They aren't provided with the resources to address their drug issues. It needs to change.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta.
Mr. DaCosta, we'll start with you for question number 7. And the next two questions are based on the Chamber pillar of building a future-ready workforce. Do you support the construction of the new Cayman Brac High School? And what benefits or concerns do you see with the current proposal?
Thank you for the question. I think it's about time Cayman Brac gets a new high school. We've been in the same building for decades. That's the original high school building. When it drizzles, it floods. There's not enough space in that school now. The only way to expand is to the sea. We're trying to retreat away from the coastline. So I do support building a new high school in Cayman Brac. Where I do have concerns is with the cost, the ever-rising cost of that building. We know how these projects go with its overruns and all of the additional expenses and what's to come down the road when we realize we missed something or we conveniently left out the hurricane shelter requirement. Additional funding will be needed. So the cost is a concern. But if the school is going ahead, we have to ensure we get value for the money spent. We use the facility day and night. We also need to, right now, it's more money, but it'll save us with the operational costs in the future, is to install solar panels on that building so that building can be self-sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbets?
Absolutely. I think it's long overdue. But we have to examine what we consider apples to apples and chalk and cheese, right? Cayman Brac has been without a high school, a modernized high school, for forever, for too long. As a Brac, I am proud to know that our premier fought very hard to get that because it's been long overdue and we needed it. To create it and construct it in a manner that gives us a multi-use hall, hurricane shelter, and possibly other social services that we need, places for our elderly to do different programs and stuff in the night when the school's not utilizing. I certainly hope that we can amalgamate a myriad of different services within that single building. And again, I would love to see a technical vocational component added to that. We're not going to get these opportunities with the existing high school. It is susceptible to flooding. Obviously, as Nicholas alluded to, there's also rain issues, other issues, because the actual age of the facility that is there. We long need it. However, if we recall, a few years ago, we built 2 very expensive schools in this country in Grand Cayman. We still don't know what the true value or the final cost was. But I can assure you, that Brac project and that school that's being built is going to come out per square foot less than what these 2 did. So I'm supported 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
All right, Mr. Tibbetts, the recurring theme is that you're going to start with question 8. And this one has to do with workplace opportunities. I know both of you have spoken about the youth previously, so you're going to have even more of an opportunity to expound on your thoughts. What specific strategies and initiatives do you propose to boost economic activity in Cayman Brac, ensuring that young residents have ample opportunities upon graduation and do not feel compelled to relocate to Grand?
Obviously, we keep hearing about the Zeus project. The Zeus project can present immediately, within probably 4 or 5 years, a significant addition to jobs and opportunities for young Caymanians. We also have to examine similar concessions to rebuild the Tiara Beach. We have a shortage of hotel rooms in Cayman Brac. And if you ever try to host an event there, everyone tells you the same thing. Brac, for example, it's as they say, it's a hot mess to find a room that weekend. And similar events, even government retreats struggle to find a room. We have got to increase our room capacity on Cayman Brac, similarly in Little Cayman as well. Now, if anyone understands a hotel is a service-based business. And that in itself increases opportunities for everyone involved, and it trickles down through the economy. We've got to find a way to get back our hotel rooms, our hotels in the Brac and similar facilities. The Zeus project, I think, is a low-hanging fruit. If we get that going, it passes all of its environmental concerns and everything. We should support that both as a community and as a government. We also need to look at back office capacity, operations. We also need to listen. When COVID shut the world down, the government learned one very important thing about this. We could function as an island, as a government, without going to work. So why can't we examine more offices in Cayman Brac, more functional services for government that aren't face-to-face, and expand opportunities for Cayman Bracers there? Central government has to take a different look at how we see Cayman Brac.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. Acosta.
Thank you very much. So Cayman Brac is definitely unique, where all of the attention is placed in Grand Cayman, but then Cayman Brac is stagnant. Little Cayman is stagnant. And nothing is being done to boost economic activity in our sister islands. But for Cayman Brac in particular, what we need to do firstly, those same back office jobs that we've been hearing about for 20 plus years that have not come to fruition, they need to come to fruition. We need to provide incentives for businesses to relocate, whether it's some, whether it's all, positions, not people, but positions, to Cayman Brac. So our people in Cayman Brac can get those jobs and provide the good services from right there at home in the sister islands. The second thing we want to do, as we know, Cayman Brac has its own unique tourism product. We focus on the eco-tourism. We have nature trails, we have caves, we have the highest point in the Cayman Islands, 140 feet. We need to seek out a partner to build an eco-centric hotel in Cayman Brac to provide hospitality jobs, management jobs, and an all-encompassing degree of service through this hotel while promoting our sister islands right there for people to unwind, relax, and enjoy the Cayman Brac that we know and love and enjoy every day. Lastly, again, I'm going to hammer this again. We need to invest in TVET training, because if we were to create a national TVET center in Cayman Brac, that again would bring participants to Cayman Brac. It would bring instructors to Cayman Brac. You could have day courses. People could finally come from Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to train. And that is what we need, to get more people there to circulate the money in the economy while serving our people as well.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta.
Thank you, gentlemen. 8 questions down, 4 more to go. Please stay tuned. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
At CUC, we care about helping our customers. Here are some quick energy saving tips from CUC so you can use less energy and save money. Set your AC Smart thermostat to maintain an indoor temperature of 87 degrees Fahrenheit or higher when you are away from home, and have the temperature cool to a comfortable 78 degrees Fahrenheit or higher when you arrive home. Adding insulation can cut your cooling costs by 15 to 45%, depending on your home's size and current insulation. Focus on insulating your attic, walls, and windows for the best results. For your laundry, avoid over-drying clothes. Not only does it waste energy, but it also harms fabrics. Dry towels and heavier cottons separately from lighter weight fabrics to save energy. Your TV and gaming setup can be big energy consumers. Save costs by reducing in-game settings and turning off your console when not in use. Remember, every small step counts. Use energy wisely and make a big difference in your energy bills and the environment.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.
Welcome back to the Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. Gone through 8 questions. We're down to the final 4 questions for this evening, and I'll turn it back over to Amari Corbin.
Thanks, Will. Mr. DaCosta, we'll start with you for question number 9, and the next 2 questions are based on the Chamber pillar of sustaining economic success. Do you support the Port Zeus project for Cayman Brac? Why or why not?
Thank you for the question. So the Port Zeus project is something that's being proposed by a developer to create a marina and upland development, which should provide opportunities for our people. And I say should because one of the things we need to ensure is that it does provide opportunities for our people. The Port Zeus project, if it passes all the requirements and it meets all the requirements, and the majority of people in Cayman Brac, not just Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman, but in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman as a whole, support this idea, I will support it with them. Cayman Brac is in dire need of a safe harbor. Right now, one of the biggest contributors to our economy in Cayman Brac and to get people there and supporting our businesses is the annual fishing tournament that's held in May. Right now, that fishing tournament has been postponed because the dock cannot be used. The one single dock that we had within the reef on Southside cannot be used. So now it's been postponed. We don't know when we'll have the fishing tournament until we find a new location. We need a safe harbor. It needs to be done properly without damaging or risking the environment for our future generations to enjoy. And if it passes all of those marks, it will have my support.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbetts?
As I've alluded to earlier, I certainly support the Zeus project. Not only does it present the opportunities for employment, construction, other things that actually give a trickle-down effect, but it does give an opportunity for overnight tourism, expand hotel room capacity, but it also gives a unique opportunity, if added or if in conjunction with an opportunity for putting in what's on a referendum in this election, an actual cruise ship port, a dock that can dock cruise ships there. People can enter the land, walk off the land, similar to what we held the actual port that came in, the cruise ship that came the other day. And I don't need to tell anyone in this room the effect that cruise ship tourism has had on Georgetown. We know what it does to our government. We know the revenue they make from it. I would love to see Cayman Brac have that opportunity. And the water that's there in that specific area is very deep very quickly. You go from 300 or 400 feet to 1,000 feet very quickly. So it be safely accommodated. It has what I consider a sufficient leeway from the wind and the current from east. And it could be easily facilitated in the construction, added to the services of it, added on to the Scotch dock that's there to accommodate, for the first one out of all over 3 islands, the ability for a cruise ship to actually dock at a port in our country. And it's very easy to figure out from there how many other opportunities that will trickle into the economy of Cayman Brac. So I'm definitely in support of the Zeus project.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
Mr. Tibbetts, me again. Question 10. And this one has to do with Little Cayman development. In February, the Planning Appeals Tribunal considered a challenge to a decision by the Sister Islands Development Control Board to grant permission for a 4 to 7 lot subdivision on Little Cayman. A final decision is expected to be made at a future date. What is your view on the future development of Little Cayman?
And this is 4 to 7 lots.
4 to 7 lot subdivision.
Okay, we have citizens in Little Cayman that need affordable homes. The committee met with those people, took their names and numbers, no one called them back. No one knows where they are. We don't have a water authority in Little Cayman. We have a water. We don't have paving on Little Cayman. The government needs to recognize there's 3 islands here. We need to at least get Little Cayman up to par, and even up to par as Cayman Brac. The water authority started in Cayman Brac in 1990, and it has just reached our neighborhood, Shamari. Since 1990, they've been digging a road. Something's wrong. There's no effort. There's no urgency. Why? We need to fix that. We need effort. We need urgency. Little Cayman has always been twisted and turned in the eyes of the people that own there, but not the citizens that live there. And that needs to be balanced somewhere. The last man on earth that would want to destroy our natural beauty in our ecosystem. I am a fisherman. I've spent many hours on that bluff as a boy, and I still do. But we have to balance. There's opportunities there that can actually help bring people on that island and grow the businesses and grow the opportunities for both employment. You put 4 to 7 homes on 4 to 7 lots. You're going to get construction. You're going to get expanded grocery store. You're going to get a hardware store. You're going to get other things that create opportunities for the natives that are there. And those people are going to pressure government to say, we need a centralized water system. You are now using water that is from wells and using a truck that uses the water at the well to bring potable water when people run out of water. Why isn't the water authority there? How long do we have to wait? And the water authority is owned by the government. It's not a private company. Again, as those things evolve, I will certainly support them that there's balance, but at the same time, the creation of those will create the secondary services. So I certainly would support that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. DaCosta, do you need me to repeat the question?
No, thank you.
Okay.
But thank you for the question. So the future development of Little Cayman, I think, needs to be done very carefully. As we see, this case involves a 4 to 7 lot subdivision. There are other subdivisions that have been done in recent years in Little Cayman with owner financing and straight purchase. They amount to almost 150 lots or more over a 10-year period. So in 10 years, all of these lots could be outright purchased, and then development starts and all of this. We see what happened and continues to happen in Grand Cayman when we try to play catch up with our infrastructure. We allow people to come in, we grow the population artificially without the infrastructure to support the needs of them, and then our own people that were here are neglected. So the future development of Little Cayman needs to be carefully controlled, and when we look at doing a national development plan, Little Cayman has to get the first attention because we cannot get Little Cayman wrong. Little Cayman is indeed the gem of these 3 Cayman Islands, and we need to ensure that we have a plan that directs us in the way it needs to go. We need the infrastructure and planning. We need infrastructure to serve the people, the Caymanians and residents that are there now. Water Authority currently has a containerized RO plant in Cayman Brac. The same thing can be put in Little Cayman to supply it. Right now they rely on private RO plants that supply only 30 gallons of water per minute. It's unsustainable, especially if any more of these subdivisions come online. We need to ensure that the resources are there for our people before we move forward with any development of this magnitude.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta.
Mr. DaCosta, the next question will be to you. This will be question number 11, and it's the last question for me. The coral reefs of Little Cayman are amongst the best and healthiest in the Caribbean. Would you recommend any additional measures to ensure that this incredible natural resource is protected?
It certainly is one of the best and healthiest reefs in the Caribbean, and we indeed need to protect it just as we need to protect what's on land. We need to care for the reefs because, again, that is bringing people and business into our country to support our people that live and work there. Some additional measures that can be done to protect that reef is perhaps look at how many people are visiting those reefs on a daily basis. There's sometimes 20 to 30 boat loads, boat trips going to these reefs in Little Cayman on a daily basis. Does that need to be limited? And of course, we have the Department of Environment to guide us on these things, to ensure that our sea assets are there, not just for today, not serving those who visit us today, but for generations to come. I want my son to learn to snorkel. I want my daughter to learn to dive and see the amazing reefs that bring people here. But it will not if we do not protect our natural resources. So I'll rely on the experts when we're in government to provide those recommendations on how we can protect the natural resources.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta. Mr. Tibbetts?
Well, there's no question, if given the opportunity to protect the reefs of Little Cayman as well as Cayman Brac, I would certainly support that. But having said that, let's examine the neglect of Little Cayman while we talk about what they're supposed to do. We have a DOE officer down there now. I don't know, I think it's 8 months, 9 months, a year without a boat to patrol to ensure that people aren't destroying our reefs. None. They took the engine to Cayman first, then sent for the boat and never sent them back. How is anyone going to protect the reef if that's the designated office, the designated person, and you don't have a boat to even go out and patrol? So I'm certainly in support of it, but we have to have a contingency plan when one boat breaks to protect it, to ensure that there's a secondary component to protect it. There's none. So again, it's tough for me to answer some of these questions. It's not hard to recommend that I will certainly support it. Oh, listen, the reef is what it is. The most beautiful thing about our islands is our coral reefs. But at the same time, if we've dedicated an organization and services, how is it so hard that when something breaks in Cayman Brac, we can't replace it? The man is there without a boat right now, ladies and gentlemen. So, you tell me.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts.
Right, Mr. Tibbetts, we've come to the end. This is the last question, and it has to do with immigration. The immigration white paper is one of the main issues being discussed during this election. What is your view on the recommendations, and which ones would you support or oppose if elected, and why?
First of all, our white paper, a rollover policy, needs to be reduced. Secondly, we need to stratify employment. We have to recognize that we are now known as a beautiful island, crime rate, good income, and There are people that are strategically coming to this country. They're taking on jobs that are underpaid, and they're willing to sacrifice their time and their effort and their utility from an economic perspective for an opportunity to really show their degree. You have, for example, you have gas pump attendants here that have a bachelor's degree, but they can't get that job they want yet, so they place themselves here. So they underprice themselves in the beginning to get the job, get the opportunity. Then they present themselves for the real degree, and they underprice themselves there. We Caymanians are suffering in the middle of this. I propose a 5-year cap on the special circumstances for anything past that. Secondly, I also propose a classification, utilization of classifications of positions. If you come here as a gas pump attendant, if you come here as a bricklayer, that's it. There's a category of that position, and you're not moving up. If you've sat here, you've created, or you've attained skills within this country to move yourself up, and you want to change employer at that point, there's your year. Come back in a year. The mobility of foreign labor in this country is surreal. You see, if someone really looked in the last 4 years at how fast foreigners can change and obtain jobs in this country, it's alarming. And the single largest element that people are using, it used to be Caymanians are lazy, that ain't what it is. Caymanians are not willing to give up their utility for so little. We live here. We're not saving our income here to go back home eventually. We live here. We want to make a living. We want to make a life. We want to go and do things. And why would I take a $12 or $15 an hour job for $6? And finally, I just say this and throw them out the room. The minimum wage is a joke. It's used to ostracize us. We need a living wage, level the playing field, and let's start again. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbetts. Mr. DaCosta.
Thank you for the question. So in the immigration white paper, which should have come a long time ago, because these issues aren't new. We've been talking about these for more than 20 years. But of course, it conveniently came right before the election. The immigration white paper proposes several things, and one of the first things that it does is proposes changing the name from the Immigration Transition Act to the Caymanian Protection Act. That is one thing from the get-go that I would support, renaming it, because our people here in the Cayman Islands have felt second class. We've felt forgotten about, we've felt neglected, we've felt overlooked. We need an act that addresses us and protects us and protects our future generations. So the title does need to change. It might seem like a small thing, but it's a big thing. The white paper also proposes increased fees for PR by investment. Certainly, we need to collect those fees if we're going to still keep those programs. The longer period for qualification for status, I would certainly support that. We need to do whatever we can to protect who gets status in this country and how quickly they can get it and qualify, because once they get it, there's no going back. And then, of course, term limits for the civil service. The civil service should be on par with the private sector. If you have a foreign worker in the civil service, that is a job that a Caymanian could be trained and filled, and it needs to happen. So that needs to come into place. One additional thing, we could go even further, that if a business still maintains that they need a work permit and they're going to take out a work permit when Caymanians are applying, each year that they take out that work permit and they have not trained a Caymanian, the work permit fee increases. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DaCosta.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. We've gone through 12 questions. It's now time for the closing statements. But before we get there, we're going to take a short commercial break. Please stay tuned.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.
Why is my bill higher? These days, it might seem like the cost of everything is going up here in Cayman. When it comes to your energy bill, this may be no exception. You may be wondering why your bill is higher when you haven't done anything different in your home. Here are some common factors that will increase your energy usage. As temperatures outside increase, your air conditioning unit has to run longer to keep your house cool, even if you haven't adjusted the thermostat. During the summer months, cooling your home can make up more than half of your energy bill. It's important to maintain your AC so that it can function as efficiently as possible. Changing your AC filters can also help with ensuring units are functioning properly. Remember, for every degree you turn up your thermostat, you can save on your monthly energy cost. Turn off your AC when no one is home. Thermostat should not be set any lower than 78 degrees. Also consider closing blinds and drapes on the sunny side of your home. This will help reduce the temperature inside your home. Remember to consider energy waste. Think about the items in your home that are using energy, like gaming computers and ceiling fans. Always unplug and turn these items off when they are not in use or needed. This will help you conserve. Now that you have some energy saving tips, you can track your consumption daily on MyCUC. Learn more at www.cuc-cayman.com.
Welcome back to the Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum for Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman. We've gone through 12 questions. It's now time in the evening for each candidate to deliver their closing statements, and we're going to begin with Nicholas DaCosta.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, first of all, to the Chamber for hosting this forum year in and year out, or each election cycle, I should say. And thank you for the listening audience at home, once again, especially my people there in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. I entered this race because Cayman Brac and Little Cayman deserves a new way forward. We deserve leadership rooted in integrity, accountability, and progress, not controversy, not conflict, and certainly not the continuation of policies that have left too many of our people behind. Some of these same very issues that we discussed tonight, we have been talking about them for 20 years and nothing has been done. At a recent public meeting, my friend Mr. Tibbetts praised the work of our current representatives in the Sister Islands. My question to you is, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? 8 years? 12 years? If the answer is no, then why would you continue down that same path? We need a new way forward. My vision is clear. Build an economy that works for everyone. Improve healthcare access for our seniors and families. Create real job opportunities for our youth. Provide housing opportunities for Caymanians and ensure that the infrastructure of our islands, not just roads and buildings, but daily things, are changed and it supports the future, not just patches the past. I did not show up in Cayman Brac just before this election. I have been there working for you, year in and year out, day after day. In everything that I have done, I've always served my people. I am someone with a proven track record of service, strong community relationships, and a commitment to doing things the right way. I'm not here to make promises. I'm here making a commitment to you, a commitment to bring real solutions that will make your lives better. I also commit to you that as a member of the Cayman Islands National Party, I will bring solutions as a principled leader. This election is not only about purported experience, but about character and the kind of leadership Cayman Brac and Little Cayman deserve and can be proud of. I'm not here to repeat the mistakes of the past, nor excuse them. I'm here to lead with purpose, to build a Cayman Brac and Little Cayman that's safe, thriving, and united. On April 30th, I am humbly asking you to vote for me, Nicholas DaCosta. Vote for the Cayman Islands National Party candidates across the country. Vote for integrity. Vote for principles. Vote for better days. Thank you.
Mr. Lonnie Tibbetts.
Thank you, Will. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this. I think this is a wonderful event. I also like to thank my opponent. I think he and I share many things you see here. We both have identified a lot of similar items, similar issues, and we have to acknowledge that a lot of them are clearly evident throughout our community in Cayman, Brac, and Little Cayman. But I will say this. My track record speaks for itself. I took over a company by the name of Seneco. I had a budget of $155 million, and I started with 8 employees. During my tenure, I maintained the premium rate for this country, grew our public core of members, and increased our staff, domesticated services locally to create jobs for Caymanians here. I started with 8, I left with 39. That level of change takes tremendous commitment. And there's a lot of things that people can practice and chat GPT and sound good on paper. But let me tell you something. These calluses on my hand are from hard work. I've done it all my life, and I will continue to do it for everyone in Cayman Brac, the entire island, as well as Little Cayman. Whilst we have district division, my commitment are for my people, all of us. And finally, I just want to say, for the first time in your life, my fellow Cayman Brackers, for the first time in your life, when you put an X next to my name, for the first time in your life, it'll mean you made the correct decision. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Now we'll move into the closing remarks delivered by Chamber President Omari Corbin.
Thanks, Will. On behalf of the Chamber Council and staff, I'd like to thank Mr. Nicholas DaCosta and Mr. Lonnie Tibbetts for participating in this evening's forum. I trust that this forum will help Cayman Brac West and Little Cayman voters make informed decisions about who to vote for when they go to the polls on April 30th. I would also like to thank Ashley Furniture and Home Store, CUC, Foster's, and Logic for sponsoring the Chamber's candidate forums. Please join us tomorrow evening as we welcome the 2 candidates from West Bay Central, Catherine Ebanks-Wilkes and Jewel Hides. Please note that all forums will be posted to the Chamber's YouTube channel for your future reference. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you will join us tomorrow evening. Please have a restful night.
EV public charging can be a bit tricky to navigate if you're new to the game. But fear not. Here's a little 101 on all things public charging at your CUC charge station. The first tip is to get the mobile app up and ready on your phone before you charge your EV at the charging location. You can scan the QR code to load the app from sitting in your car. Download the mobile app, register a charge account, load money into your charge wallet. You must have a minimum of US $5 balance in your charge wallet to begin a charging session. Scan the QR code again to start a charging session using this charger. You can also enter the station ID number into the app. Follow the instructions on the mobile app to initiate your charging session. Now you're ready to charge your EV. Select either the right or the left charge plug. Plug your car in and make sure it shows as charging on your dashboard. Charging for 1 hour will give you up to 35 miles of charge. Charging to 80% optimizes battery life and reduces the risk of overcharging. So in that time, you can shop or go to work or chat with fellow EV owners. It's a real community out there. Great to see you, Maya. Happy charging, everyone. See you on the road.
When you run your own business, you have a career as an accountant, stock taker, delivery driver, therapist, legal expert, mother, father, and the rest. But there's one area you don't need to be an expert in. At Brava, we take the complexity out of your business solutions. We keep it simple, so you can get along with doing what you do. Brava, the Simplify My Business company.